Galileo Galilei was a mathematician, physicist, philosopher, and astronomer. He is often considered the father of modern science.
Galileo was the one who really put together the principles of experiment, theory, and mathematics together into a common framework.
Probably more than anyone else, Galileo was really the person responsible for developing modern astronomy.
In 1609, Galileo heard about a telescope built by a Dutch eyeglass maker. He soon built his own, 32 times more powerful, and started studying the heavens.
When Galileo looked at Jupiter through a telescope, he discovered 4 tiny little lights that seemed to circle Jupiter. Those are what are now referred to as the Galilean moons.
This confirmed Copernicus's idea that celestial bodies rotate each other. He also looked at Venus and found that it had phases.
This discovery was revolutionary because it really proved beyond the shadow of a doubt that the Earth is not the center of the universe.
The story of the Griffith Observatory begins with Colonel Griffith J. Griffith, a British-born American industrialist and philanthropist who donated 3,000 acres of land surrounding the observatory to the city of Los Angeles in December of 1896. In his will, Griffith allocated funds to build an observatory, exhibit hall, and planetarium on the donated land. His goal was to make astronomy accessible to the public. That dream became a reality on May 14, 1935. The 67,000 square foot building is one of the most popular informal education facilities in the United States and is the most visited public observatory in the world, seeing 1.6 million visitors a year. And of course, in true LA fashion, the observatory has appeared in a number of films, including Rebel Without a Cause, La La Land, The Terminator, The Rocketeer, and Transformers. Millions of visitors have looked through the 12-inch Zeiss refracting telescope that's located in the rooftop dome on the building's east end.
One of these ideas has a name called, are you ready for this? The dark photon. It's the equivalent of the photon in the normal everyday world, carrying the electromagnetic force. This would be a force that is mostly in the dark matter, but is carried by something, the equivalent of the photon, but the dark photon. I know it's a super dorky name, but there's nothing we can do about it. And for years, this idea of a dark photon or fifth extra forces in dark matter remained purely hypothetical. But back in 2016, a research group announced the discovery of a new particle. This new particle was called X17. Well, that was the name they gave it. They called it X17 because it had a mass of 17 mega electron volts. If that jargon term means nothing to you, don't worry about it. It's about 34 times heavier than an electron. As particles go, that's actually pretty light, which is strange because the lighter particles are more stable, they're more long-lived, so we should have found all the light particles by now. But then this research group said, hey, no, there's a brand new one, it's 34 times more massive than the electron. We missed it. It was behind the couch the whole time. So this X17 particle was an interesting result back in 2016. And then a couple years later, a theory group realized that you might be able to produce X17 like particles if this new force way over here in the dark matter with the dark photons does talk to normal matter every once in a while, then you can get interesting combinations and start making particles that are 34 times more massive than the electron.